What's up, everyone? Blockchain here. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm struggling, so be sure to support me. This was a really interesting video that Kevin posted. This woman has quite the interesting story to tell about her past, and I'm just going to let her talk a bit. So let's begin.
Single, never married, no children.
All right. So what do we got here?
I honestly just found you like this past week, and I've been listening to a lot of your the conversations that you've been having with women, and I'm just intrigued. So I thought that I would join.
What do
And
you
it's
find?
been,
What do you find
huh?
intriguing? What do you find intriguing?
Um, just the subjects and the things that you guys talk about, just in regard to women being a certain way, and then they think that they deserve, top earners in the country. And
hmm
yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
Well,
So
okay. You said you're single, no children,
yeah,
never been married.
correct.
All right. What do you want, or what did you? What is it you've ever wanted with a man in your life?
Um, Gosh, okay, so to be honest, I've only had like two serious relationships.
Okay.
Other than that, I've dated, but
You
it
go to college?
just, I did not.
All right. What do you do for
I have
What do you do for a living?
I work in retail.
Okay. As an
Hmm.
associate.
Yeah, special.
Um.
I mean, I've been listening to all of these things, and like, according to the ladies that call you and the conversations you have, like, I have nothing. I'm just gonna be honest, but um, I have been waiting. I've been a Christian. I became a Christian at 21, and I have been waiting in purity for basically 23 years
Waiting in purity. Waiting in purity for over 20 years.
to find someone.
You've been waiting in what for purity, you say?
Yes, yes. I do not have sex. I do not sleep around.
Are you saying you're a virgin?
Born again, if you want to say it that way.
How long has that been? How long has that been?
Um, to my personal convictions, I've
Mhm.
only fallen to sexual sin once in 23 years.
How long ago was that?
2016.
Okay, so your personal convictions, because I was Christian since 5 years old.
Okay.
Uh, how do you plan on handling your elder years? 55, 65 to 85. Because you won't have
I do.
because at the point you won't have a husband, you won't have a family or children.
Mhm,
You'll be too old to really work to make significant income.
mhm.
Then what?
I honestly don't know. I would like to be married, but I just not yet.
And you didn't think it was appropriate to prioritize marriage? I mean, you're not young. I mean, at what point do you think it's time to get married? Because you're in your 40s now. Uh, the likelihood of you being married at this point is pretty much slim to none.
When did you become a Christian?
When I was 21.
So I can tell you, man, I'm hearing things that make no sense to me. How can you want to be
Yeah.
married and you're a Christian?
Hmm.
Where's the husband? Where's Adam? Eve?
I'm gonna pause for a moment. Y'all be sure to subscribe, okay? Help me out, all right? You gotta support me. I need your support. Thank you. Let's continue.
Well, because what I hear, I'm gonna be honest, what I hear a lot of times is women using God and Christianity as an excuse for their fear and why they didn't get out here. There's no way you're supposed to be single.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying I'm not having
honestly,
sex.
I know. I haven't really put myself out there. People have found me, honestly.
How have you have you had any therapy?
Some I have, yeah.
Because this isn't normal, man. It's simply not normal. This is not even normal human behavior. You can't tell me my first commandment in the Garden of Eden was to be what? Fruitful and multiply.
To be, yeah.
Okay, so now you're 43, so that's pretty much a wrap.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, according to worldly statistics, but
yeah, you're done at this point. You're done. The probabilities of you getting married is very slim to none. Are you kidding me? Did you not forget that you're competing with a lot of other more single women? You're way even beyond the past of advanced maternal age. I mean, what are you thinking? One of the reasons why men get into relationships and one of the reasons why men get married is so that they could have children and have a legacy. This is why men get married.
I think it's possible to be married and be happy.
Ma'am, I don't care about. And this is why I'm gonna be honest. You're not Sarah.
And did y'all hear that? She said she thinks it's possible. It's possible. It's possible to hit the lottery too. But the probabilities are very slim to none.
Think you have to go that far. You think it's possible, ma'am? You work in retail. You're not Abraham. This isn't Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar.
I know that.
Okay, so what if it's possible? Can you afford? Because Wednesday I'm gonna be talking about this IVF stuff. Can you afford $12,000 to $12,000 to $25,000 per IVF treatment?
You didn't ask me if I wanted kids. I really don't desire to have children.
I said being kids is over at the wrap. You said, well, you think so? So what? You made the statement.
I mean, I'm just thinking in regard to like even being married.
You don't even want to be. You're not thinking you want to be married?
No, I'm saying like I would like to be married. I don't desire kids.
Why do you want to be married?
I think if I were to find my best friend.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. See, I was going to make a comment about something else, but then she threw I'm looking for a best friend. We're not your best friends. You have your single friends for that, and you have other women for that. Those are your best friends. These are the women that apparently so far they've led you down this dangerous and destructive path of being 40 and alone. So, I mean, men are not your best friends, okay? We have roles, okay? There's important things for marriage that you have to take on.
That's not what a husband's job is. Christian.
I mean, kind of. My job is their best friends.
Christian. Hey, Christian. It's not what a husband's job is.
Okay.
You're not coming in with this now. You got the right one. That's not what a husband's job is, Christian woman.
And there it goes. There it is. The whole cherry picking through the Bible, picking only the conveniences, but leaving out everything else. I'm going to pick out this 0.00 whatever percent of something that kind of aligns with my values and what I want. And I'm going to leave alone 99 point whatever the hell percent that says the opposite of what I'm doing now. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. I just don't get it.
Was Adam Eve's friend?
No.
That's not his job now, is it?
I mean, the Bible, it says that she was his helpmate.
Helpmate. That means she had a job to do. She's supposed to help him tend to the garden. And what use, and see, what I'm trying to get you to understand is you said you in this position because you've this religious reason, but you're not living that religion. This is Christian feminism. And you're using God, women like you use God as a reason to mask your dysfunction.
Yep.
Dysfunction, inability to function.
Inability to get along with a man. Inability to be led by a man. And the inability to cooperate with a man. I mean, this is what we're seeing all too often. And this is what you women end up as.
There's no reason that you should be 43 years old talking about you want to be married. Cool, you want to be married. I got a real hardcore question for you. Solid question. Reasonable though. Reasonable, not a diss, but a reasonable question, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What value is a 43-year-old woman to a man in marriage?
Ooh, good question. Good question.
I honestly don't know how to answer that because I've never really thought about it.
You're gonna have to answer.
You should
it.
though, because you say you want to be married. Cool, but you need a man. And what value and the reasons that men typically marry is for legacy, offspring. Biologically, our creator made you more valuable for that 20 years ago. Within a certain amount of years, you will hit the change to where it won't be possible. They will require immaculate conception or divine intervention. Then at that point, what value is it to a man to marry a woman who cannot carry his child?
Well, someone has shown interest and he already has children. And
what does that even mean? Someone has showed interest. What, interest in smashing? Sure, you would get a lot of that. You'll get a lot of people who are willing to smash, but ain't nobody trying to marry you. Come on now, we know this. Interest in what? Interest in what? There is nothing more to be had beyond just smashing and going.
I don't mind. I don't know. I don't mind not having kids.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is, you're as a woman.
Oh, and let's not forget she's a born again virgin, right?
Woman, your value diminishes the more things you take off the table. When was your last relationship?
A long time ago. Like I said, I've dated.
What was your last relationship though?
Probably the early 2000s.
I don't know what that means, ma'am.
Like maybe 2009, 2010.
How long did that last?
Honestly, we dated off and on for a few years. And then there came a point in time where
Ma'am, if I asked you
there was just like a cross.
If I asked you a question, at 43 years old, chronologically that's your age, but from a relationship maturity standpoint, do you feel like a 43-year-old woman?
No, I don't.
No, they're girls, Kevin. They're girls. They are absolutely girls. They are young teenage girls, and we must treat them as such.
How old do you? If you had to say what your relational age would be, how old do you think you would be? What age range?
Probably my 20s.
You're in your teens.
Or maybe
you're in your
30s.
teens. You're in your teens.
Do you think so?
Ma'am, I talk to women for a living. You're talking like a young lady, a teenage girl. If I didn't know you were 43 and I just had to read the transcript, you sound like a teenage girl. And you've been living, you haven't had a relationship, you're not sexually active. You say this is for religious reasons, but if that's the case, then at 43, this ain't God's plan. This is your plan. You've had to actively make yourself unavailable. You have had to actively make yourself unavailable.
And that's what it is. That's what a lot of it boils down to. Women like her, they're afraid of dating. They're afraid of relationships. They lead with worst case scenarios and, everything must be perfect. And, it's like, well, the guy, he must be perfect and beyond perfect, and he has to just accept me for who I am. Never mind the other women who are around this perfect man, right? But it's like, no, she needs a perfect guy that's going to hit all of those bulleted checkpoints in her brain, which she thinks a man should be about. So she's trifling and confused. And it's unfortunate because she's lost many years of her life playing around and not taking anything serious.
Mm-hmm.
Now the milk is spoiled. Now you're to the point where you're talking.
What did you say? The milk is spoiled.
Yes.
The milk is spoiled. The milk is spoiled. You are done. You are done.
You're 43.
That's really funny.
Your eggs are dead, dying. It's not funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to get through to women like you, recognize that y'all don't have time, man. Men married for a reason. You're talking about you don't mind being but okay, you don't mind, but you don't even have any practice in being a stepmother. You ain't even been a girlfriend.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why I like.
But it's not religion.
That's part of the reason
it's
why
not religion. It's not God. It's not just spiritual beliefs.
It goes beyond God. I mean, women like this weren't born to be wives. I mean, they weren't born to really even get along with men. They were born to be strong and independent, and now it's caught up with her and she's seeing the reality. And it's biting her in the butt pretty bad, and it's unfortunate.
You're afraid of relationships for what? What is your father? Is your father still alive?
No. So I grew up in first foster care, 7-18. And then, long story short, I was adopted when I was 28.
Let's skip to the plot, man. Get to the end. Here's the reality.
Okay.
You don't make enough money to be alone. You work retail. You're going to die on the streets.
In retail, they don't make hardly anything decent to live off of. It is very tough to have a sustaining life working in a retail environment, especially if you're just some sort of sales specialist. I mean, that's tough. It's a hard job having to deal with the public, but then you're not compensated enough to really live on your own and care for yourself and have, cushion funding and all of this other stuff. It's tough. It's tough. And at your age, not being in a managerial position and you're just a sales associate or a sales specialist, I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
Let me just skip to the plot. If a man was in your position with a high school diploma working retail, he would have to have a family to be able to survive. You need that's the bottom line. And you're starting to see more and more and more women turning out homeless, especially Black women, because y'all have not learned how to work with a man.
And this is so true. This is so true. A lot of these homeless encampments, you could go down Skid Row in Los Angeles, California. You would just see miles of homeless people, and you're seeing an increasing number of women who are on the streets. And it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
The best years are behind you. Your prime years. You're in the later years. At 43, you may still look at yourself in the mirror and say, I still look good for 43.
And to add to that, seriously, sincerely believes that there's a guy out there, some guy somewhere who'll, marry her, and she think it's still possible. And she's hoping and praying and leaning toward possibilities as opposed to probabilities. And that's very, very dangerous. This isn't a Disney movie. This isn't a Disney fairy tale. You have to come down to reality.
But you're 43. When I say the milk is spoiled, that offends you, but it's not, it shouldn't be offensive, ma'am. Menopause. It's not offensive, it's natural. But because women have not prioritized relationship until later in life, if at all, and they're not making the kind of money that they need to make to be independent and single, y'all are in a trick bag. And there's no nice talking that's going to get you out of it. You work in retail. Are you in management? No?
No.
So if you get fired from your retail job or you lose your job, retail is in the tailspin. Corona slowed it down, but retail has been going out. I'm an image consultant, so I understand the nature of retail. Neiman Marcus was about to go bankrupt before coronavirus. How you gonna live?
Thankfully, they provided us to be able to work at home. So I maintain employment.
Work at home today. What about 65?
Yeah.
And why I'm doing this, and it seems like it's kind of harsh, because the world has just the world is okay. It's taken women like you and said, you know what, we'll use you. We'll tell you to be independent, and we'll let you sit in church, pay your tithes, let you work in retail, make us money, and we'll take your prime years. And then when you're too old to marry and no longer useful to the company, or we extracted all of our value out of you, and we no longer want you, we want the 25-year-old version of you, we put you out to pasture. Then you look around and you can't get a job because you haven't been preparing for the next step. And it's hitting our community more than anything else, because there is no way you should be single at 40-something years old. Our grandparents weren't, and the people before us were not.
And to make matters worse, she's a born-again virgin. And I do believe that she's thinking that she's going to have a man wait until after marriage to have sex. But you're 43. No man is going to wait until after marriage to have sex with you. You're 43. Come on. I mean, what world are you living in? Seriously. You're just making things more difficult for yourself. And at this point, and especially at your age, it's very likely your mind is pretty much made up, because through the whole cognitive dissonance thing, you begin to reject things that reasonable and articulable people like Kevin and other prominent figures would tell you, and you would be more content with your ideologies, but your ideologies are not giving you what you think you want and what you think you deserve. You're living on possibilities, and that's not good. That's not safe. That's not sane. There's therapy that needs to be had, and probably beyond that, you need to talk to consultants and other types of specialists to try to help you, because you're at a point where you're going to have to well overperform than a woman in her late teens, in her 20s, and in her 30s. I mean, you're in like no man's land. I mean, that's to the point where it's scary. But like I said, men will have fun with you. They'll have sex with you. But a man isn't going to try to marry you. No man is trying to marry a 43-year-old woman. Come on now.
And until we start having these conversations and you ladies start accepting the hardcore reality that you need a man. It's not an option. You need a man need a man today.
You need a man to survive. You need a man to get through the rest of your life with.
What's the holdup? I'm saying you need a man today financially. Unless you're gonna go get a woman.
No.
I mean, what's the okay, but not okay.
And it's crazy because she's not terrible looking, but she's put herself in a box to the point where she's not going to be getting married. I mean, it's to the point now she would be better off finding some sort of mate, someone to have fun with, and they're like roommates or something like that. But in terms of marriage, that's pushing it big time. The likelihood of this woman being married statistically is laughable. It's just bad. She's not going to get married.
So if saying you need a man, you need another income for security. You need, what state are you in? California?
I'm in Arizona.
Arizona. You need another income and a half. And and my question to you, is this what kind of drew you to my content? This conversation that obviously you haven't had?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think is sad.
What was interesting is like,
and that's the thing. This is a conversation a 43-year-old woman has never had, because typically with women like her, they only surround themselves around like-minded women. He's strong, independent. I don't need no man. I'm a queen. I'm a goddess. I'm a, whatever. I'm a diva, all this other nonsense. And they just give each other such bad advice, and it doesn't get them anywhere. By far, no other race of women do things like this. And it's insane, and it's causing so much chaos and confusion to the point where it's ruining lives. And that's why I'm a big proponent for a lot of the work Kevin does and a lot of the work a lot of these other YouTubers do, because this needs to be brought to light. Regardless of how upset some women be from it, it has to be brought to light, and something must be done about it. I'm only saying it's huge, and it's ruining lives.
I guess the mindset, I feel like I don't have the mindset of I've never said I want to be independent. I want this or that.
Yeah, you did. Your actions have shown it. Otherwise, you would have approached this so much more differently years ago, decades ago. But here you are, 43 years old.
There is some truth to you saying me being actively unavailable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth behind it, because it's true, right? It's true. So there's no some truth. It's all truth. It's okay to say that. So first and foremost, we have to start off by fully acknowledging the realities. All you have to do is look back in your history and look at your current status. It doesn't tell the tale of someone who's doing well for themselves in the love realm. Okay. So, at this point, you should be laser focused on changing your ways, even if it means doing a complete 180. Okay.
And I have sought counsel. I am 5'11".
Okay. You have to go out of your way to be in your situation. That's why I say actively, this is a choice.
5'11".
You're 5'11", almost 6 feet tall, and then saying, I'm not sexually active. That puts so you can't be inconspicuous. You have a certain look, you have a model's height. So you've had opportunity. Mm-hmm. You might as well have been 5 foot tall and 400 pounds and ugly. Nothing. I'm not joking. You might as well have been 5
No, I get it.
pounds and ugly for your outcomes. Because your outcomes are what? You've not
All of that wasted. All of that wasted. Now she's 43 and wondering what the hell happened.
used any of it. You actively avoided relationship. To whose benefit?
Not necessarily. I have gone out and dated. I have liked people. And actually in 2016, that he wanted to be with me.
But what did you do?
He wanted me to be his girlfriend.
But you didn't want to marry him for what reason?
He wanted a sexual relationship before marriage.
Well,
and
okay.
Although
okay, man, but you had sex. I don't care. You got sex. Okay. How long were y'all together?
7 months.
So he wanted sex before marriage, and you had sex. He wanted to marry you. Did he propose?
No.
Who ended the relationship?
I did.
Thank you.
And there
Case
it
closed.
is.
Die alone, man.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yes. 6 years ago, 6 years ago at 37, you had somebody willing to put up with this shit. A 37-year-old virgin born.
Why does it have to be shit though? Like,
because it is. It is. This is the harsh reality. It is.
Like,
because is
it too hard to ask for you to
Your outcome
honor?
is shit. Your outcome is shit.
No one cares about your beliefs. No one cares about your beliefs. You think a man, especially a man that's doing well for himself, is going to get to a certain peak, but then conform to whatever lifestyle you envision? Come on. Come on. Men don't operate that way. I'm sorry. Men just don't operate that way. And you've made a tragic mistake that's cost you.
37 years old, born again virgin, and someone had to put up with that. And you still decided to have sex at least one time and you ended it. That's bullshit.
Wrecked her own relationship.
And if you had people who loved you, somebody would have checked you on this shit a long time ago and told you, what are you holding out for, chick? What are you holding out for? You holding this coochie for what? What are you holding it for? A man who
because
wants to marry you,
I honestly
wanted to
feel
marry you.
I don't think it was marriage. Well, it possibly could have led to marriage, but
I don't think it was. So you have everything figured out, right? Because it led you here. Come on now.
I think that.
I think
Honor women are unfit for men. That's why
So
I say, this is why I don't date
as
women.
you would
This is
say,
why I don't date women my age. They overcomplicate shit too much, man. I don't care what it is. You're a high school graduate and work in retail. What kind of social leverage do you think you have? It was time for you to get off the fucking dating field 20 years ago. We're sitting here talking like you got lots of long options. That's why somebody to put up with this shit. It is shit. If I ran into you at 37 years old and you told me, oh, I'm a born again virgin, I wait until marriage, I'd say, good luck with that. Bye. I'm not gonna marry you. I wouldn't wait for you.
Yeah, that
huge point. Definitely not going to do it. Such a waste of time. And especially in your late 30s.
that is why I'm still single.
No, you're single because you're single because you're jacked up. It's not the men, it's you. You have had more than a few suitable men into your life and try to get with you. But something is off here, man. And that's okay. But you can't make it the men's problem. You can't say, well, it's my spiritual beliefs. If your spiritual beliefs, then why'd you fuck them the first time?
Playing around, not taking anything serious.
God wasn't looking that day.
Yeah, he did.
See, it's always our fault, no matter what. When they run their lives into ditches.
And you got to also wonder too, is something wrong with her, like mentally? Because it's becoming more apparent that she might have something else going on. But then again, it's not the problem of the man to figure it out. She should have her own shit together. Otherwise, she's just wasting time.
And you're looking up and you're 60 years old and you remember this phone call. It's always our fault. Ma'am, you have had plenty of
I
opportunities.
didn't say it was his fault.
I said
I'm not.
men's fault. Men's fault. And this is why I say at the end of the day, independence, equality, the feminism movement is giving women the opportunity to fail.
To self-destruct.
Ma'am, if you were a man in the same position, working retail, 43 years old, what would they call you?
A sucker, a loser, everything in the book.
No plans for the future, no real steadiness. Life is about people and relationships, ma'am. And your relationship with God is one thing, but God did not tell us to not be fruitful and multiply. We're supposed to be together. You have actively done this. That's why I asked, have you had therapy? Because something's off. And at the end of the day, ma'am, you're 43. You got less years in front of you than behind you.
And she needs to have this instilled into her head because she's still not getting it. In her mind, she thinks it's still possible. I mean, I've heard of people that get married at older age. I do. I think it's possible.
You're supposed to be teaching younger women how to do this stuff. And this is why I say, when I sit down with women, y'all gotta stop listening to women in their late 30s and 40s because they are just confused as hell. And they're out here actively trying to date the same men that you're dating.
And you are in for it.
My show represents the first real time where women had to actually sit down and listen to the reality of what's going on. And I ask, what are you waiting for? Mr. Right?
Well, Kevin, I mean, she has to meet a guy that meets all of her expectations because she's very picky and she's a born-again virgin. So she needs to find a man that's going to hit all of her expectations. She's picky and she's not going to settle for anything less. And you have to wait, fellas, you have to wait until after marriage. And this is a woman you ain't getting no kids with or anything, but you have to wait to get the coochie after marriage because that's her beliefs and that's her feelings. And it's not really based or rooted behind anything, just her feelings because she's just making it all up. I mean, that's what's going on right now.
I guess from a worldly perspective, yeah.
Okay, well, but see, that's not what you're supposed to choose. You're supposed to just pick a suitable man. That's why I cannot go with you from this worldly perspective. You're a worldly Christian. That's why I interrogate.
So? I mean,
ma'am, I've been
know
doing this
me
a long
from
time.
a short conversation.
I do know you.
Oh gosh, and now she's getting all emotional and she doesn't have her emotions in check. She doesn't have her feelings and emotions in check. So now she's making it super, super personal. It's like, well, no, you called in, you sought enlightenment. So here's the harsh reality. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting. It's going to feel very bad, but it should also serve as a harsh reality check, because this is a situation you put yourself in. Kevin didn't put you in this situation. Other men didn't put you in this situation, especially other black men. You did this to yourself. And now you have to face the consequences. But the interesting thing is you're 43. You don't get to go back in time and change things. There's no turning things around. This is it. You're done. You're done. At this point, you'll be better off, like I said, finding a roommate, someone you could have fun with occasionally. But, I mean, you're done. This is it.
I certainly do know you. I got about 8 broadcasts on Christian feminists. I do know you. Short haircut and all. Yep, I grew up with you. I grew up in the Bible Belt. I know what y'all look like, taste like, smell like, move like. I know everything about you. You don't get to be this way, and it's God's plan. You've had to actively take yourself out of consideration.
The ultimate escape. Oh, it's God's plan. Well, it's just not my time yet. Time's a ticking.
Whatever your reasons are, you still actively took yourself out of consideration. You do not prioritize relationship. Okay. But you, unlike many other women, have had more options. 6 feet tall, model, height. Come on, man.
And especially the way you look. I mean, in your late teens and 20s, I bet you were bad back then. But you let it all go to waste. And that's it. High school diploma, 43 years old. I mean, with all due respect, working retail as a sales associate or a sales specialist or whatever, I mean, yeah, it's looking pretty bleak at this point.
Ain't about God, and ain't nothing. Where is Mr. Right in the King James Bible?
Well, not that, because that's not aligned with her ideology. So we can't say that. We only use things that's aligned with her ideology. Everything else, that's null and void. But when she picks things from the Bible, these are the things that we're just going to stick with. Everything else, we're going to ignore it because it's not aligned with what she values. So,
the New Living Version. Where's Mr. Right anywhere in the text? Anywhere. Old Testament, New Testament. Which chapter? Which verse? It's in Proverbs, Psalms, Matthew, Mark, what? Revelations?
Are you talking about just like
Mr. Right, this thing you're waiting for, Mr. Right, where is he? Oh. Where is the text referring to? Wait for Mr. Right. When you sit down with your pastor and the people in church and interrogate what you believe about relationships, what do y'all talk about? When you go to singles ministry and say, I'm 43 and single and I want to get married, what happens when you sit down with your pastor, the singles ministry or the women's ministry, and y'all talk about your beliefs and how they line up with what God wants in your life and what's going on in the world in the church? What do they say?
We actually don't. Well, I haven't been to any of those meetings with those conversations.
Thank you. This is why I say I don't listen to women who proclaim Christianity, because they don't move like Christians.
Yeah.
You guys go back and look at any of my videos. When I listen to these Christian women say this and that, I ask the same question: whose headship? Whose leadership? And you're moving on your own. You're not under your pastor. You're not under a ministry. You're not under anything. You're doing this on your own and putting it off on our God. That ain't what he told us. Now, is it?
Okay, so
there is no but,
I am planted in a church. So there is
you're
truth
planted
to
in a
you
church,
saying,
but if you want Mr. Right or a Christian, you're not in a church that facilitates marriage between singles. You're not asking your pastor. You're not. I asked you who's in charge of this process. You. Thank you.
yeah.
She kind of looks like Sacha Baron Cohen too, a little bit.
Upload the rest of it, guys. I have it on Zoom. Who's in charge of this process?
I guess I'd have to say that I've been in charge of the process.
Right. So, and that's why I said you're in charge of the process. So, how can you be waiting for Mr. Right and say you're putting this off on born again virgin or whatever when you're in charge of this? This is why I'm going to interrogate Sierra's prayer. This is going to, okay, so you guys didn't hear part of this. I'm going to upload this when I talk about Sierra's prayer in the standalone video, because this happens too often in our community. When women just sit around, oh, I'm going to be a born again virgin. Okay. But where's the husband that's supposed to come along with your born again virgin status? Where's the relationship? Where's that at? Where's the relationship?
Yeah.
So, in order for relationships to happen, we have to choose to make them happen. Oftentimes, when women do what you're doing, y'all do this out of fear. But do you feel safe?
And that's what it is. That's what it is. A lot of it is fear. They need something behind it to make the excuse to back it up. Oh, it's because of this, or oh, it's because of that, which in reality, they messed up and they need something to blame. There needs to be a reason why they are where they are. So.
Safe by myself, or like safe?
Yeah, do you feel secure in life? Alone working retail.
Yeah, if I really think about it, I am okay. I do have family. I have family here. My godparents are here, and I'm with them a lot. I'm with my sisters a lot.
Okay. Okay. Your godparent, but when they transition on, you're safe because mankind has civilized the world, and you have police, fire, and emergency. But are you secure in this world? Meaning, if you got ill, a life-threatening illness, do you feel secure then? Do you have good insurance?
Yeah, I do.
Good health insurance?
I actually work
for a sales associate or a sales specialist for a retail environment. I don't really know too much about that. You may want to revisit the sort of plans that they're offering you, because it's not as good as you think, and it's not as good as how they sell it to you as the employee. It's usually pretty bad, and it usually comes with a pretty high premium. So all in all, retail sales positions, they typically don't offer up good medical, dental, and vision insurance.
For one of the top tech companies. So I do.
You said retail.
Mm-hmm.
So you could survive a cancer diagnosis financially.
Is it Amazon?
Yes.
On retail.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has no idea.
We have great benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, or you do?
I'll just say I believe you. Do you own your own home?
I don't.
Are you in an apartment?
I am in a house. I am renting.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what your medical deductible is?
Like for the year, or like every time I go to the doctor? I don't go to the doctor. I mean, I'm
I'm a
very
cancer
healthy.
survivor, ma'am. I'm a cancer survivor, and
Yeah.
I just don't know. I work retail. I just don't know many retail people who have great medical benefits. I'm sorry, I just don't.
hmm
I just don't know.
The company provides a lot of resources.
$500,000
Yeah.
worth of $500,000 medical.
Here's a resource. Here's a pamphlet. Go to the county hospital and you better hope that they're able to take you on. But if they send you a bill, just ignore it. That's the resources that they give you.
Bill, major surgery, chemotherapy. No, ma'am, not retail. No.
Well, okay. So I don't know about that, but
I know. That's what I'm
have
saying.
needed.
My point is, you don't know, and you have to, because you have what I would consider to be false security. Your godparents, they're older than you. Your sisters, are your sisters married? Do they have kids?
My little brother just got married. No. I am actually the oldest. So
are you earning more than six figures annually?
I'm sorry?
Are you earning more than $100,000 annually?
No.
70,000?
No.
50,000?
Yes.
60,000?
No.
Arizona, Tucson?
So I mean that's poverty level, or average, below average in Arizona. Even out there, even though how it's kind of desert like out there in Arizona, it's still kind of expensive in Arizona. And even on that salary, that's not that much. Even for Arizona, that's not a lot. That's a hard figure to live off of.
Scottsdale?
Yeah, that area.
You're broke. Paycheck to paycheck. $60,000, Tucson, Scottsdale.
And that's after they take out taxes and all of that. You don't have anything. You don't have money to really put in savings or invest it or buy yourself things for that matter. Better hope and pray that whoever you work for, they give you some sort of good discounts to buy from their store. But even still,
but the cost of living is about 130% of the national average. $60,000 is every bit of $45,000 in Houston or Dallas. It's paycheck to paycheck. It's paycheck to paycheck. No savings. Now, unless you get some sort of inheritance or whatever, it's not living money, man. How much money do you think you'd need to survive between 65 and 85? That's almost $2 million cash. You can't save that. You have to invest your way to that.
Yeah.
And this is a woman that don't have any sort of real training beyond sales associate, sales specialist. She has a high school diploma. I mean, I'm not knocking folks that do have high school diplomas, but if you do go down that route of just being content with a high school diploma, it might be a good idea to add some sort of specialty or additional certifications. You could get these from local adult schools, whatever the case may be. This would include like forklifter's license, a CDL, all of these other things that could really add a lot of value, because, you know, there's a saying, even Kevin says, competence get compensated. So if you're just going to be rolling around with a high school diploma, have a little more backing it, have other professional certifications behind you, have more specialized licenses behind you. This way you can make more on an annual basis, because as it sits, this woman, she's not really doing anything. She's just playing around and living a very modest and unpleasant life. And she comes to the realization that she needs a man to get through the rest of her life. And just as Kevin said, she has less years ahead of her than what she has behind her. So she's wasted her time. This woman is 5'11", and she's not a bad looking woman. She's very beautiful, but she's 43. And like I said, in her late 20s, in her, late teens, her 20s, her 30s, I'm sure she was smoking, but she decided to not make marriage a priority, and now it caught up with her. And now she's facing the hard truths. Like I said, there's no do-over. This is it. This is it.
And women feel secure because no one's trying to boop them in the head and take their sandwiches. So my point is this. Relationships, especially, I'm pushing harder because you said you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand how this lines up with us as Christians. You're supposed to be in a relationship. That's a woman's purpose on the planet. Is it not?
What's the saying? I can do bad all by myself.
In our faith tradition, what is your purpose?
Honestly, yes, there is to be in a relationship, but like, I also believe that like,
she keeps going back to what she believes. You know, that's cute in theory, but what you believe is not really rooted in anything that could really get you anywhere. You're just playing around, and you just expect a man to just accept everything you believe. And that's what I was saying before. A man is not, especially a man that had to make something of himself, he's not going to stoop down and conform to whatever lifestyle you envision or whatever lifestyle you want to live by. That's not how men operate. Why are you wasting time? Has anyone never told you this? You're 43 years old. You've never had a conversation with anyone about this? That's really, really bad.
Like, serving and loving God. I feel like you kind of have given me, like, you kind of just blanketed me because of the things that I've shared in regard to
I blanketed
being
you
single and
because
stuff
you're
like that.
a Christian woman.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause right here. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to continue this video, but be sure to hit that like button below. Come on, help me. Help the YouTube algorithm. Videos like this needs to be brought to light. And did I say subscribe? Subscribe. That's all I'm asking. Help me out, please. I'm begging you. Help me out. But let's continue.
Yeah, and whose headship are you under?
I am I do go to church. I do serve. I help out.
Headship.
Are you talking about like relationship or like at my church?
If you were raised in Christian tradition, you're supposed to go from your father's house to your husband's house. In the interim, it's acceptable.
I still submit to my godparents. I still submit to my.
Hold on. In the interim, under your pastor's headship.
Yeah.
But you're out here on your own, making up your own Christian rules. This is modern Christian feminism because I have a...
Well, yes. Yeah, they make up their own rules. I mean, you know, it makes sense to me.
A heart for Jesus. That's why I'm going to break apart Sierra's prayer, because so many women believe I got a relationship with God by myself. But where's the man? Father, Son, Holy Ghost, the Trinity. There's headship, vertical relationship.
Oh, they don't want to hear nothing about that because that's not aligned with their imaginary beliefs, their manifested beliefs. It's not aligned with it, so they're not going to follow it. But they're not realizing that it's severely negatively affecting them.
Who's leading you? Who are you submitting to? Who's guiding you?
I have pastor, and then I have my godparents, and then I have my adopted
Your pastor is male or female?
Uh, he's male, but he's married and his wife speaks.
Now, how often do you meet with your pastor?
Like to have a sit down conversation, or just kind of like a
Yeah, how long?
You said I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You said I'm asking how you meet your
It's
pastor.
important, you know. You sit down with him. He gives you advice.
well, like
Insights.
to meet and like talk to them about things.
Yeah.
I hardly ever.
Mm-hmm. So you said you're under the leadership of your pastor, but a man, how are you going to be under the leadership and you don't talk to him? Because I'm going to ask you the next question. You're a 43-year-old single woman who you haven't even talked to your pastor about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not special. You're just another Christian feminist.
Sad.
How can I dissect this stuff? How can I know 3 steps down the line what questions to ask you? Because this is what's infected the church. In one breath, you say, I'm under the headship.
And that's what you're seeing now, too, especially in the area that you could go to a lot of these churches, a lot of these congregations. Overwhelmingly percentage of the people, the congregates, are females, and there's only a handful of men there, and it's getting progressively worse in terms of just men not being involved with the church anymore. And you're just seeing a lot of women, they're giving the church their money and everything, and oh yeah, God, that's fine. I'm not knocking people who are into God and everything, but if you look around, men, especially in my area, they're not involved with church like that.
My pastor, when did you meet him? I don't talk to him. What?
So I do. There are a few pastors in the church. There is one head pastor, and I talk to one of the pastors pretty much every time I serve, which is a few times a month.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I have accountability in my life, if that's what you mean.
Don't.
No, I'm asking you, where's the relational accountability?
Because if you did, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in. There is no accountability. You're just wasting more time, and you're trying to defend the undefensible.
Accountability. Who's helping you sort out the relationships with a man? See, the fact that I'm even having to explain this to you as a Christian woman is very disconcerting. So women are just supposed to be just floating through the village, individual by themselves, just making olive oil and bread and living in their own hut, right? Just got a heart for Jesus, heart for God.
Yeah, new modern era Themyscira, huh? That's the imagination, right? Wonder Woman.
We're supposed to be in Bethlehem, just doing our thing. Yeah, you're supposed to. Where the single women live in those days, huh?
They're usually cared. I mean, in those days, they're usually cared for.
She's trying so hard.
By the church, huh?
Where'd they live? The whorehouse. They lived in the whorehouse.
Yeah.
Yes, because you either in your father's house, or your husband's house. Women didn't just live by themselves. You had single women, unattended women. They were in a whorehouse or on the street.
Yeah, and now if you go to other countries, you would find these women in brothels and mega brothels and things like that. And yeah, for the record, mega brothels is a thing and they exist.
And at least, the women that were on the street, the widows, they can at least go to the church. Women aren't supposed to be unattended. You're supposed to have men in your life. This is what I'm saying. No matter how you come at this, I take it back to what you said was the guy in your life, your religious beliefs. I'm sorry, this is bullshit. You're living a faith lie. And I see it all the time. Not supposed to talk about it, but man, when I ask women in your position, or men in your position, are you in a church that facilitates single marriage? No, then you need a new church. And I want to go back to the audience. Shoes on my feet, I bought them. Car I'm driving, I bought it. Rock I'm rocking, I bought it. It's only because they make money that they feel like they're independent. That's what this long conversation is to show. The reason so many pastors don't like me is because I point out the fact that they're not helping their single female parishioners couple.
And we've been even seeing things like this, in movies in the past. They make jokes about stuff like this.
Tithe?
I do.
Goddamn right you do. 10%?
Yep.
Yeah, of course you do.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. What percentage of the church is single men these days?
I think there's a lot.
Okay.
But it would be you were right on the fear part. And
thank you. $5,000. $5,000 over 50, less than 60. That's $5,000 to $6,000 a year. Single women are a cash cow for the church. Cash cow. That's why male membership in churches decreased by about 40%. Why would you got single women lined up in church religiously pumping in $400 or $500 a month per head? Ask a woman if she's gonna spend $400 or $500 on a man, she tell you no, but she gonna put that in the offering plate for Jesus.
Oh yeah, but she ain't gonna put that for fixing herself either. This would include going to therapy. This would include hiring some sort of image or dating consultant. They wouldn't do none of that because of the whole strong, independent, I don't need no man philosophy. But yeah, they'll put their money in the plate. They'll put their 10 or 12% or whatever the hell. Some would even bump it up to as much as 15%. I mean, we seen jokes about this. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That movie even had a funny scene where the woman was like, "Ooh, I got a $200 right here." I mean, you see it. I mean, this has been around for a couple of decades where people have been making jokes about it, and it's just been getting progressively worse. Men are not going to church anymore. And women like this, they're cash cows for the church. They just continue to pump money to them. Okay, that's fine.
Ain't following the pastor, ain't really trying to find a husband. I'm just going to wait for Mr. Right. And they're like, 5,000. I want you to think about sitting on a church aisle. Go to your...
And to bring you down memory lane, why come the pastor got to have him a nice church, huh? Why come the pastor got to have him a nice house, huh? Don't ask, I said. Don't ask, I said. Don't ask, no questions. Just pay the money. Ooh, I got $100 right here. Hey, nigga, get around that time. Nigga, get around that side. Y'all don't remember that epic scene from Don't Be a Menace? I mean, it was hysterical, but that just goes to show you men have seen this for decades. But women like this, they still go to church. They still give their offerings. They're the cash cows of the church.
I used to sit around church. I'm like, this whole pew is full. Boom, 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 boom. 20, 30 women. 20, 30 women. $500 a head. Man, that's $15,000 per pew. 10 pews deep, that's $150,000 a month.
Wow. I said, don't ask. I said, don't ask. I said, don't ask. No questions. Just give the money.
The only people married at the church, the pastor, the old people.
Why come the pastor got to have him a nice house, huh? I said, why come the pastor got to have him a nice car, huh?
The biggest part.
There's lots of young couples, but okay, yeah.
There's some young couples somewhere. I'm sure, But we're not talking about some. We're not talking about anecdotal. We're talking about the masses. These little bits and pieces that you refer to, they do not eclipse the masses. That's what you're failing to understand. That's that possible, probable thing. Yeah, they are, but it's not the masses. Do you not understand that?
Yeah.
The majority of the church, is the majority of the church married?
I'd say, well, from what I've
She's struggling
realized,
so hard.
yeah, there are a lot of married people at my church.
And what is the singles ministry like?
She has no idea.
I don't know.
She hasn't.
You can't make this shit up.
She hasn't involved herself with any of it.
You can't make this stuff up, people. You cannot make it up.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make it up. I mean, you've been a good sport, man, but you got to understand that you are in a relationship with yourself, and you say with God, but this ain't what God has told us to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other married people, where's your man?
Yeah.
You're not making enough to live on your own, and when your body breaks down like we all do,
Mm-hmm.
this is not going to be good. We don't make enough money to be single. So I hope, whether you like the conversation or not, you can at least understand that there's a religious component. There's also a practical component. You don't make enough money to be like this. And that's why my show is effective, man, because I ask questions that people aren't willing to ask, not to just be a dick, but because I don't want to say it because I'm already probably in enough deep water. If you guys want to hear the first part of this, I'll go to Zoom and I'll clip the first part and upload it as a standalone video.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. I'm going to leave the original link to this video in this video's description. Again, please support me. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until the next time, peace.